Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Alex Thomas Talk Show. We're here, like we always are, 7 o'clock Friday at the Riverside Art Center, 76 North Huron. And on the show, we always try to, if we can, link our guests to something that's going on at Riverside Art Center. And we hit the jackpot tonight again. Been lucky in all the shows, getting great guests. Yeah, because, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, everyone, Stell.
Hi.
And the reason I say we hit the jackpot is because the event that's going on today at 76 North here on the Riverside Art Center is a transgender clothing swap. So if you have any clothing that you would like to donate or you want to check out, if you want to come down for the swap, come down. It's going on until 8 o'clock. And I met Stell because I was coming in here today and we had a cancellation earlier. So that's why if one of the many guests that wanted to be on the show tonight that I said you couldn't, that guest canceled, but I found Stell on the way in because he was going to take part in the clothing swap.
What a happy coincidence.
Yeah, so we have a great guest, and if you can believe it, I'm going to stop talking. And Stell, what would you like to talk about here today?
Well, can I introduce myself first?
Yes, you can.
Hi, my name is Stell Drake. I identify as trans. I use she, her pronouns. I am a student at Washtenaw Community College and the president of the LGBTQ club there called Outspace, which is meeting Fridays, every Friday throughout the summer, in case you're interested.
You know, I think there might be. What is Outspace? What's the mission of Outspace?
So the mission of Outspace is just to provide a fun, inclusive space focusing on being a safe space for queer people. And we have a lot of different members who identify different ways. And like as the president, for me, it's just a really important thing to have a safe space for LGBTQIA plus people because a lot of people go through life and every space they have is not safe and they feel on some level afraid to be in the spaces that they're in. So it is so incredibly important to have safe spaces for queer people to hang out in. So yeah, I really love it. It's been going great so far. It's super casual too. Like we come and we just like talk to each other and there's no structure really. It's just.
Is it a set meeting time?
Yeah. So it's 1 to 3 on Friday and it's in LA 272 at Washtenaw Community College.
And I think might know the answer. Do you like the numbers that you're getting now, or would you like to see more people, or is it overflow, or how's it going?
It's not. I would love it pretty overflow. Like you can't come in. There's not enough. There's not enough room. We could definitely have more people. Like I would love to see more people come. And we've gotten some new members just over the summer, which has been really exciting.
You guys have a Facebook presence or online presence or something?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, so you can look up Outspace at Washtenaw Community College. I think that's the official Facebook page title. Yeah, I think we're just on Facebook. I have been wanting to make it Instagram. Mm-hmm. Do you run any of the social media?
Facebook I'm pretty familiar with, but I've been on Facebook since I think 2006. Mm-hmm. I never posted anything until I got involved in the activist work. So like in my personal life, it's great for just keeping us what's going on with friends and such like that. But it's usually as a tool for advocacy because it's invaluable and connecting with the community and such like that.
Yeah.
But I part of the advocacy work, I want to get more youth, and I know it's old people on Facebook.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is Facebook like over? Is it not cool anymore?
That's what it seems like. That's the word on the street from the kids that I'm talking to. It's like I always hear definitely not Facebook.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I don't know anything about Instagram or Snapchat other than I can pronounce them correctly. And
okay, that seems to be like what like the really young people are using Instagram and Snapchat. I feel like Instagram is probably like the best platform right now to reach young people. And that's why I said that I want to make an Instagram for WCC. It's because it's a lot like more, it's a lot simpler. You know, with Facebook, there's so much stuff going on, but Instagram is just like picture, caption, do you like it? If not, you just keep swiping.
So it'd be great if anybody's interested in Outspace, you guys could use a social media person.
Totally.
Yeah, to help pump up.
Yeah.
I definitely want to give a chance for you to just talk about yourself and such, but one of the purposes of the show is to promote what's going on here at Riverside Arts Center and one of the events and issues related to that. And the event here tonight is the transgender clothing swap. So for people that aren't in the transgender community or not in the LGBTQ community, just an opportunity to, what kind of things do you think should be talked about more, or do you think people should know? And you know, clearly there's lots of bigots out there, and there's people that just, you know, they don't have any interest and don't have any sense of respect for other fellow human beings and such. So we're not talking to them, but there's a lot of
I'm talking to you. But although you can always change, people can always change. I'm a big believer in that.
But there's a lot of like cool people that stay in the house too much and they don't get out a lot.
Yeah,
and they
true.
Just don't. They probably have questions. So you know, they have questions. So given all that, like, what would you like to talk about given that?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I was actually just talking about this kind of thing with Outspace members today, because we're trying to put together an educational slideshow to show the nursing program at WCC. So it's like can be a very like general overview of like LGBTQIA plus information.
I'm sorry, IA plus, which I should know.
Oh yeah. So okay, I guess that's a good place to start. So like LGBT. So okay, LGBT is a very common acronym: lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. That is extended. So it kind of, people use like different terminology, but I think the most inclusive acronym to use at this point is LGBTQIA+. So what that means is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. I stands for intersex. Those are people born with a sexual identity that falls outside of the sexual identity binary. So, and then asexual, and then plus is just any other identity that could happen to be there.
IA plus.
Yes, yeah, it's a little more inclusive. It's because the point of the whole community, in my opinion, is that we're recognizing that there are a whole lot of identities that people can take on, and people are just born with. So it's important to recognize that like people aren't just men and women. People aren't just like heterosexual or homosexual. Like there's so like I love the phrase like gender is a galaxy, and you could just say like identity is a galaxy, because kind of a lot of people say like gender is a spectrum, and in a way that can be true, but that implies it's like a two-dimensional like spectrum. But like a galaxy is like there are so many different ways to be and identify, and like it's okay. Like it is completely okay.
And you know, I said before, there's a lot of cool people that stay in the house and they don't get out. But even those that get out just aren't aware because of the culture and history behind LGBTQIA plus issues. But given that, I think what was an eye-opener for me, that it was a couple of years ago, I looked in Webster's dictionary and under gender, and there's a social construct of gender, you know, and it's in the dictionary according to Webster. So, I mean, for those of you that are saying that it's just clearly. So I said, oh, I gotta, you know, why, you know, there is sometimes I do argue with the dictionary, but I didn't know, you know, I didn't have ground on that one.
Was it a physical dictionary?
Oh no, like when I say argue with
the
the dictionary, like read a definition and say I don't think that counts. And I wish I could come up with one. I could give you a great example, but I can't right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't, I don't have any. I was like, in doing some further research, there is, so. But I just think a lot of the resistance to treating this subject respectfully, it comes from ignorance, or it comes from a cultural bias, our Puritan underpinnings, all that and everything. So, I think Webster's, check it out.
Yeah, read the dictionary.
And I did ask the acronyms last week too, but it's hard. We always get new viewers, and I just think it's so important to get the language out. Because people just go, oh, I don't know what.
Yeah, I totally get that. Like, okay, some people, and maybe it's you. Uh-huh. You hear LGBTQIA+, and you're like, how am I supposed to remember that? That's too much. And I totally understand that. But okay.
Okay. I'm thinking about
it's not that hard.
I hear people say, color, black, I don't know what. It's like, oh God, it's so hard.
Yeah.
The African American or black or
yeah.
person of color.
God. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah. So just from that idea, that's where I come. But anyway.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. But the whole idea behind like LGBTQIA+ is like, this is a loosely affiliated group of minorities regarding sexual orientation, gender orientation, or sexual identity. So like, it's just like a group of people that come together because they don't always find loving spaces in like public places.
Cool. Well, that's not cool, but
it's not cool.
It's cool that you got that out space and that you're given an opportunity right here to put that out there. But when asking you about the acronym, I kind of cut you off because you were what I had originally asked about. What should people know? And so I want to give you a chance to pick back up.
Yeah, okay. Well, I could talk forever about this, so please cut me off.
Okay. Well, now you're spokesman for the whole community now.
Yeah, also, no one speaks for the whole community. That's a good point. Like, this is a very, very diverse group of people, so, like, of course, I cannot talk for all of queer people, but there are certain things that are like generally agreed on. So like, yeah, a big one is like a lot of people might think that like your sex and your gender are the same thing. I think that's where a lot of people struggle with the whole queer concept. But the way that a lot of queer people look at it, you have three things, like I mentioned before. You have your gender identity, which is how you express yourself. That's how you want the world to perceive you. Okay, it has to do with like clothes you wear, do you wear makeup? Do you talk in a certain way? Like, do you socialize in certain ways? Like your behavior. Then you have your sexual orientation, which is like, what kind of people do you prefer to be with intimately? Do you like being with people intimately? That's your sexual orientation. And then your sexual identity is like more of your physical body and your identity around that. So you can separate those things because those are all separate things that everyone has an identity for, even if you don't recognize it.
Absolutely.
So like a lot of people that don't identify as queer, they're born into this gender and sex binary where you pop out of your mom and the doctor, whoever is helping birth you, looks at you and goes, oh, that's a boy. And then from that point on, you're going to be gendered as a boy and expected to do boy things in a lot of cases. It's not necessarily the case, but for most of the world, that's the case. So we grow up with these expectations of, oh, I should behave this way because I'm a boy and this is what boys do. But that level, so that's where gender is a social construct, because it's not a biological thing that like, I don't know, boys like trucks or something. That's something that's like, oh, you're a boy, I'm going to give you a toy car. And, but your sister, we'll give her like a Barbie doll or something. I mean, this is very like basic, like stereotypical things, but this is really the case in, I know, my life and a lot of people's lives. So when you separate your gender from your sex, and when you have the freedom to choose what gender you want to have, I like thinking of gender as a performance, because it truly is like how you perform to other people, right? And it's so ingrained in us that it's hard to even like think about it, but opening yourself up to the possibilities of other way you could perform is a really beautiful thing. Like, why is it so striking to see a man with like a beard wearing a dress? Like, it's so striking, and it's because we have such a socialized idea of what clothing is and who should wear what. But these are really kind of like barriers that are set up since we're little.
I think, I mean, just the old-fashioned, and not to oversimplify things, but the golden rule: if you just treat people with the respect that you like to be treated with, you can understand. You can begin and investigate it. Maybe even if you disagree, you can still, on that principle of respect. I say that with that because I think so much. I mean, some people just when you were talking about the social part of sexual identity, that social part. I think a lot of people I know of just in my life, no, it's not that way. It's clear. It's man and woman, and they won't and they won't investigate, and they won't have just some empathy or just some curiosity or something to at least back up what you're saying, this knee-jerk reaction or whatever. Look at the research. I mean, having said that, I was thinking, but and to be fair, because it's great not being a professional journalist and not claiming to be an expert. So I'm a guy with the Facebook Live feed. But having said that, I remember I saw like a documentary where they wanted to see if male and female chimps would be attracted. The children would be attracted to certain type of toys. And the male chimps did like the trucks and such. The girls did like the more fluffy things that you hold on to, just in general. But, there were exceptions and such. Mm-hmm. I mean, I give that example, and again, I'm obviously not an expert or a journalist, but I give that example. But I know from just life experience, how many girls could have benefited from MMA training and such in their youth if it was more acceptable at that time as it is now, the discipline and such. But that definitely wasn't, or combat sports or some of the other traditionally male activities, but that was not part of the culture back then. So again, I'm obviously not an expert, but just if you just treat the subject with respect, investigate, and try to understand what the community's been trying to get the mainstream population to understand that this is a serious human issue. Dig into it.
I love that. Like, respect is such a big thing, because I think a lot of people's kind of like knee-jerk reactions is like, oh, like I don't like that, but like it's important to have the respect of, like, if another human being is telling you something, like, it's important to at least give them the time of day.
I was, I'm big on numbers and such, but to hear something like 9 or 10% of mammals are homosexual species.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mammals.
Okay, you read like the research studies. I don't read the academic journals.
Lawrence Wright is the physicist, but he's not a zoologist. But that he introduced that in just Google him in that. But because if people just had treated the subject with respect, they can investigate. And because the time-honored argument, that's not natural. It doesn't. I mean, it's like, look at the science. Look at the science. That's
oh my God, I was watching this documentary on cuttlefish, which are like related to squid and octopus, and they're like these really smart creatures, and there's actually like documented cases of like transgender cuttlefish. Okay, so like what happens?
Do they cuddle? I can't help it. I don't know what cuttlefish are. Do cuttlefish cuddle? I know. Are they fish that cuddle?
They're like, they have like tentacles. I imagine they could cuddle if they like hug each other with their tentacles. So maybe
I'll look it up.
But so the way that they mate is like there's like one female and a bunch of males gather around, and they try to act like really tough and like really like masculine. They make themselves like really big, and they have like dark coloring because they can change their pigmentation. It's like a lot of those types of animals.
It's like a lot of guys at the beach or something like that when they're flying up with the beautiful little.
Yeah, but so they're like, oh, I'm gonna be the cuttlefish to mate today, and so like sometimes like the biggest male will like mate with the female, but actually a lot of the time a male cuttlefish will pretend to be a female. They'll make itself like really small and like light colored like a female, and then just like go past all these males that are like showing off to each other, and then just go like right next to the female, and they're like, hey, what's up? And then they actually have a better mating chance doing that than acting all like macho. Yeah.
All right. Having a real conversation, huh?
Yeah.
I respect it. Wait, we have about 5 minutes left. I was gonna like do the usual thing. Well, not the usual thing because it's good. I was gonna see if there's like any events coming up, things over the summer, such. But knowing that we have 5 minutes left, just leave it. I mean, is there any definite things you want to talk about we didn't get in, or?
Ooh, well, I mean, I guess like the transgender clothing swap that is still
it's still going to
yeah, it's still happening. It's really awesome. Everyone should go check it out. I got this dress.
Okay.
I'm so excited about this. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. It's amazing, and I'm so excited to wear it.
I was gonna see if you want to. We don't have time for you to model now.
Oh my god, I'd love to next time.
But this is really good stuff up there. If you're looking for something.
Totally.
So what about over the summer? Are there any big events, translated or not, that you'd like to tell people about? Washington?
Okay. I don't know. I know there's like really cool stuff happening in Ypsi all the time.
Especially down here at 76 North Huron.
Yeah, at Riverside Art Center. Actually, no, seriously, like there's so many cool events at Riverside Art Center. It's amazing, and I'm so excited to like come here more and like be part of the community here.
Thanks. Hey, Trevor, what's going on here tomorrow?
Tomorrow, from 3 to 5 p.m., we'll have open studio. Come with your family, come with your pals, come with your kids, make some art.
Art making, okay. Oh, yeah, we talked about
open studio, 3 to 5 p.m.
3 to 5 p.m.,
Awesome.
Come with your family, come with the kids. You get to make art, and you get to take home what you make.
Exactly.
Not the supplies, but you get to take home what you make. Do you know what's big next weekend? I'll give a heads up to, or they can go to our Facebook page and check it out. Riverside Arts.
Vogue dancing.
Vogue dancing, like snap a pose, dun, 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 like that. Dun, dun, dun. All right.
It's like
I've heard it. I've seen the videos, but
I don't know
all
how
right.
to Vogue dance, but I want to.
Okay, so you heard Art Studio tomorrow. You can take home your art next week. Vogue dancing. Thank you for tuning in. The clothing swap's going on till 8 o'clock tonight. And we'll see you next week here, 7 p.m. Alex Thomas Show. Thanks. Bye-bye. Is it off? Man, I can't.